So, right now we're going to learn about how to create a lot of questions regarding our solution and how to be able to ask questions in order to build good quality prototypes. So, I have logged in onto my portal and now I'm going into a solution that I've made for myself. For example, I've created this problem and a solution that we with the AI. For example, the problem is about people living near garbage dumps and cities and waste everywhere. The reason behind waste have to go through a lot of bad smell, and we have the solution of it is we have to create a mechanism which decomposes their garbage by itself. Right now, the AI has created a solution for us. It is telling me what all do I need to do. It is asking me to get a microcontroller, Arduino, and Raspberry Pi, single board computer for running image recognition and motor drivers, power supply and adapter, a stable power supply for the system considering power requirements and sensors. It is asking me to get a software also, a pre-trained machine learning model to classify TensorFlow and PyTorch it is telling me to look into. And what is the recommended hardware? Raspberry Pi camera module or USB webcam, microcontroller and Raspberry Pi. So whenever I read these things, a lot of questions pop up in my mind. Like on the implementation level, this is very high level overview information. But how exactly do we go through this is a question mark in my head. What exactly are the components do I need to buy? Why do I need to buy those components? How do I connect these components with each other? How do they talk to each other? How do they work together? So all of these questions, I don't know the answers for. I'll just keep a note of those questions here. So I'm going to go back into my create idea. So I'm going back into my create ideas tab, and I'm going to take a note of these questions in order to be able to ask these questions to the internet afterwards. Right. So the first question that I have is, so the solution is asking me to create a 4-axis or a 6-axis robot. So my first question is, what is a 6 degree of freedom robot? Right. So the frame becomes here I of robot. Now I have a few more questions regarding this. Why do we need a multiple degree freedom robot? Where else are these robots used? What components are used in these robots? General. And what could be good examples? What are good open source examples of such robots? And one question I have more is, are they used, are they ever used for the purpose of segregation? Right. So when I ask these questions, when I get clarity on all of these questions, I learn a lot about how to approach my solution and what all do I need to get for the solution. So the idea is we create a lot of questions in our head and note them down in order to build the solution very effectively and learn about the problem and the way we can build the solution. Because let's face it, nobody really knows how to make the solutions right now. So these questions help us get a direction of what exactly do we need to look for. So these are research questions that we need to look for. Now I have a few more questions. For example, what is machine learning and why do I use it in segregation project? How does machine learning work? Now frame is machine learning. How does machine learning work? Right? How do we install machine learning and a camera to a Raspberry Pi? Why do we need to use a Raspberry Pi? a Raspberry Pi instead of Arduino and sensors. Why exactly do we need to do machine learning? If the solution can be done with sensors, why don't we do that? So what is the reason the AI has told us to use Raspberry Pi instead of Arduino? So all of these questions which are ringing in my head, I've asked those questions to the, I have written down those questions here. So I'm going to save all of this. Okay, so I just press the save button. For some time it shows me that it has been saved. Then I'll go back to view my brainstorms. And here, so as you can see here, most of them are WH question. Why, what, where, how, when, who, right? So once we ask these questions to any problem, we get to meet a lot of problems which, uh, which helps us understand the problem statement and the solution better. Now, these things, since these look like Latin to us, we are not used to so much of technology and all. So what these questions help us do is get a direction of where exactly are we going. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter Grok 3.0. Okay, and now we are going to learn a bit about prompt engineering. Now I'm first thing that I do with Grok is I set up some context. So I write context. Okay, the context is I am making a solution for a problem which is segregating and decomposing waste in a dump yard near me. AI has suggested me to build a robot for it. Now I have some questions regarding the details of the solution. Now you can just copy and paste these questions from here, right? And just remove the numbers, and the AI will try to answer most of the questions that we ask. What this does is it doesn't solve the problem for us. It doesn't give us exactly what we need to do. It doesn't give us the steps. We can ask for further steps also. But what it does is it helps us get a broader direction of where exactly we are going. So I'm just going to put this prompt in. And then AI will think and give us good answers about it. Yeah. So basically, this is how you do prompt engineering. And once these things come, then we ask it questions back. And this process going front and back till we get absolute clarity about what we are building is the process of prompt engineering. And that is what we want you to follow to be able to build good quality prototypes. So it is telling you the steps also. How do you set up the things? How do you write the code in the lean circuit board? Why are we using the machine learning algorithm? How are we using it? When to use an Arduino? Why are we not using Arduino right now? So all of the questions are answered here. What is needed is our ability to create questions and ask them to the prompt engineering tool. Right. So now I'll ask a few more follow-up questions to this. Now let's see what I didn't understand. 6 degree of access freedom. What come with 6 independent axes of freedom. Translation motions, backside rotation motions. Now I'll ask what are translational motions and how do they work? What motors should I buy for this? So by follow-up questions, you get an understanding of what exactly do we need to do. So you're explaining me what is translation motion, what are linear actuators, kinematics. So all of these things that we need to learn more about. Then my next question would be linear actuator examples. And It also gave me the names of motors that I should be buying. ROS is the software that I should be using, and kinematics for right. Reading all about this gives us better idea of how do we approach the solution. So this is fundamentally the process of like this prompt engineering has to happen at least 20 to 30 times for us to be able to understand our situation, understand our solution, and how to build it. So this is the process I wanted you to get accustomed to. Thank you so much.